Morning, everyone. So today I'm going to talk something very basic, and also because there were a lot of misinformation about it, and I thought probably I should shed some light on this. Right? Uh, so basically, we know our human body is has around 25,000 genes, right, which we get from our parents, and somehow uh, we are blaming our genes for our diseases, right? We have seen a lot of tests coming up to test your DNA to tell you your risk, right? But your DNA static doesn't change during life, right? So the one-time test just tells you your risk. There's no actionable. It doesn't tell you, what changes are happening inside the body, right now, right? So there is a lot of gaps in terms of measuring our own genes, right? And more so because uh, when compared to plants, right? The plants have their own genes. Their plant genes are much more than our own genes, which we get from our parents, right? And but plants, do not have these microbial genes which living inside us, and probably in our body there are 100 microbes. They account for 99% of genes inside our body, right? So we are epigenetically, or with the genes expression point of view, is we are only 1% human, right? So uh, again, it is our body is a sack of chemicals and biochemical reactions, and it is driven by the exactly nutrients we consume, food we consume, right? And it is the interaction between these foods and the genes, whether it is human genes or microbial genes, right? It is what leads to a trigger point, which changes the expression of the genes, which changes the functions of your genes, right? And which impacts your biology, right? So again, it is food is information. It tells your DNA what has to be done. So probably external trigger DNA gets copied into RNA, then it gets into protein, which is again a function our biology, our body perform, right? So essentially, this is the basics of understanding, not falling for a gene paradox, probably focusing more on a genes expression standpoint, right? And also because a lot of these genes are microbial, so the food we eat, it feeds to a smaller extent to our own cells and our own genes, but it feeds more of a microbial, right? Microbes and microbes genes. So essentially, any food you eat is a sack of various molecules, right? Your microbes sense these molecules express a particular gene that perform a particular function, right? And I'm going to explain this with one basic example, which is really important, right? And which has been misunderstood by a lot of people, specifically people who are propagating the calorie deficient calorie counting diet, right? So essentially, your microbes, they rely on the nutrients we consume, right? And when we consume, they sense the nutrients, they express a particular gene, they perform a, biochemical function, they extract the chemical energy from the food and release a byproduct, right? And now these byproducts is what we call as metabolite, right? And these metabolites actually feeds us, right? So our physiology depends upon these metabolites, right? And one of these essential and the most important metabolite is uh, butyric acid or bitrate, right? Again, bitrate is a byproduct, a metabolite of your microbes when you consume prebiotics, polyphenols, or dietary fiber, right? They consume these foods we ingest, which are high in dietary fiber, right? And again, we're not talking about food, we are talking about these specific substrates, whether it's polyphenol, with withdrawal, prebiotic or dietary fiber, right? So essentially, they consume it, they extract the energy which they need for their survival, and then they release something called bitrate. Now, bitrate, people say, okay, no, you don't have, you know, you can't count how much calories getting from bitrate because bitrate is not a food; it is a byproduct of the food you eat. So people who are I've seen a lot of people doing video telling, that biotrade, there's nothing to be counted for biotrade, so you do not, you know, it is not important for our biology. It is such a, wrong information people are spreading, especially with fitness guys, right? So again, coming back to the to biotrade, so essentially we all know this is really, really aware to a lot of people that these biotrade is something which regulates your satiety, right? It regulates your blood sugar level, so it has a really great role in your managing your metabolic health, right? But another important thing is that the intestinal cells, right? Biotin is a food for intestinal cells, right? So it feeds your intestinal cells, right? Biotin also regulate our own genes expression, right? Which is not known to a lot of people. The most important aspect is the let us talk a bit science. So we know there's the immune system. We have T cells, and T cells are something which goes and the pathogen goes and kill the pathogen, right? So it keeps our body away from wrong things, and especially in times of COVID, it was the case, right? Uh, but again, when it goes to the infected cell and it'll kill the pathogen, right? So it attacks the immune cell and kill the pathogen, and you are saved, right? But again, at the end, right? These things have to be memorized inside the body. So probably next time the same pathogen comes or attacks your body, probably your immune cells should be able to recognize and kill it, right? And for that, you need to have these memory T cells. And for the conversion of T cells to memory T cells, you need bitrate. Again, bitrate is a signal. So if you do not have bitrate, right, probably, once your T cells save you from COVID, but next time it will not be able to recognize it, and you will have infections, or probably you will have COVID attack, or probably you will have other sort of infectious disease or issues, right? So bitrate is really, really important from that perspective. So it is not coming in any food, it is the ability of your microbes to produce bitrate, right? So you can't count it. It's a byproduct, it's a metabolite, it's a chemical produced by your microbiome when it's like a poop of microbiome, right? So essentially, uh, these this factor is really, really important from a gut microbiome perspective, right? So next time someone tells you, okay, do count calories and all that, which to manage your metabolic, it's all waste and crap. Do not fall for that. Food first. Remember, food is information. Food drives all the biochemical functions inside our body, right? So we really do not need to count. We need to count for. We need to understand how each of these genes interacts with our physiology, interacts with our human genes, interact with our microbial genes, right? So that is something which I want to discuss today, right? So if you want to be healthy, keep your microbes healthy, understand your microbial interaction. We do not need to even know which microbe is that, doesn't matter, right? For instance, Akkermansia municipalea is again a bacteria which plays a role in production of bitrate, but again, it is only when you are feeding it with fiber. So again, if it is devoid of fiber, this bacteria could eat your mucin on your gut lining, and it could actually have detrimental impact on your health. So it has been that this bacteria also involved in onset and progression of multiple sclerosis, right? So essentially, again, it is not about the bacteria which is there; it is about what they are doing, what metabolites they are secreting. Right? Just remember that do not fall for these cheap gut microbiome tests, which is just when you bacteria, they are saying you diversity, it doesn't help. Right? So that's it for today. Have a great day. Thank you very much.